Welcome everybody to the Redzone Report post-game show brought to you by PLB Sports Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the Diggs 17 line of hot sauces, and the JA 14 line of coffee. Please try to enjoy the show. Welcome everybody to the Redzone Report live post-game show starring me, Izzy, and co-founder of Built in Buffalo, Akeem Richens, right here on the show with you. And it's a Monday to live in infamy when it comes to Bills Mafia. It was a rough game to watch in the second half. The first half was tolerable. The second half was not. Akeem, what you got?
It's only week one. It's only week one. I'm a try to start the show off on a positive level. We have a long way to go. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But what a disgraceful performance. Rich, Akeem Richens. This is Built in Buffalo. If you don't know us by now, please get to know us. Izzy, I'm really upset at the type of performance that was displayed tonight by our Buffalo Bills. We gave the game away, and our $250 million quarterback is a guy I have to put majority of that blame on. I cannot, we cannot fiddle this anymore. We cannot make excuses for the guy anymore. We can't say it's the offensive line now. We can get there and talk about different things, but our quarterback having 4 turnovers in that game where all we had to do was play mistake-free football, and we win this football game, and we failed to do so. And it was a disgraceful performance on all levels, but most importantly, on the guy that get paid the most, the guy that we view as the generational quarterback, the guy that we run through a brick wall for. How can we continue to support a guy that has the turnovers he has, that makes the mistakes he gets, and it is very frustrating. So I'm gonna calm down, Izzy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Look, I want to lose my shit too, so don't feel bad. Josh played horrendous today, and we could blame the offensive line. They played pretty freaking good against the Jets D line for what it's worth. We could blame Dorsey if you want to, but there were plays out there like that 3rd down and 2 where Josh threw that interception to freaking Whitehead as if he didn't even see him there. Gabe ran a bad route. Blame Gabe if you want to. I don't care. But Josh threw that ball. He saw how the play developed. He had Diggs in the flat open for the first down if he wanted it. He could have figured out a way to tuck and run it for 2 yards. It was horrible.
So what's going on here exactly? Is what's going on here? Are we not doing a good job with the offense in terms of the wide receiver concepts and how Josh is seeing the field? Because I haven't seen any improvements from Ken Dorsey this game. It looks like the same Ken Dorsey to me. Now I know. Listen, Josh Allen missed a lot of reads, man. It was some check downs where Dalton Kincaid played a solid game. He was open on some plays where he could have went to. He missed some reads, but it's just a disgraceful performance. Breece Hall is 8-9 months removed from a torn ACL, and he had 10 attempts over 100 yards.
Dude, I'm with you there on the defensive side, but the defense held those guys for the most part. For the most part, they held them. They didn't take the lead till the fourth quarter. They tied it in the fourth quarter, and then they kicked the field goal. Where was our offense?
Where were they?
Our defense did their job. Our defense they held them to less than 20 points in this game. And Brees Hall had 100 yards on 10 carries, and they still held them to less than 20 points. What was this? 16 points of offense by the Jets. Terrell Bernard out there at middle linebacker, he had some slip-ups here and there, but for the most part, he was solid there. Christian Benford, had some good plays, but then, he let Garrett Wilson get behind him. The defense to me was fine. The defense was fine. The offense is where we failed. This is a 30-point per game offense last year. Where the hell was the offense? Where was Josh Allen? I'll tell you where he was. He was in his own head. He was in his own damn head out there throwing those stupid passes. And he's better than that. I don't know if it's nerves because they hurt him last year. I don't know if it's, just week one jitters. I don't know, right? Because last year, week one, we beat the brakes off the Rams, but the Rams were terrible, as we saw last year. And even though he had 3 turnovers in that game, we still beat him by like 21 points. We beat him by 3 scores. This Jets team is not the Rams from last year. The Jets defense is legit. You can't make those mistakes, and you can't give them the ball. You cannot give them the ball. You have to take the sack. You can't just lob it with single high safety coverage down the middle to Stephon Diggs with those corners covering the way they're good at, and put the ball in danger. And he did that. Granted, call it a punt. No, I call it a pick because he could have had the first down if he just waited till the next down and let it go to third down. It was second down. Josh, what the hell are you doing? I know it's week one. I love Josh Allen. Look, don't get me wrong. I freaking love Josh. That's my quarterback. He's going to have way more good games than bad games. But this was pardon my French, this was a fucking stinker. It was a stinker. He failed in week one. I mean, granted, Mahomes and Burrow both lost week 1, 2, and they both didn't look good either. But Josh was easily the worst of the 3 this week. It was horrible.
The Buffalo Bills had all the momentum going into the game after a injury to Aaron Rodgers. You have a hyped up MetLife Stadium. It's a rejuvenated franchise, it's a rejuvenated crowd, and you come out in the first 4 plays. Rousseau gets a pressure to start it off, and then Leonard Floyd gets a sack, and you take all that wind from not only the crowd, but from the players and from that organization. And for you not to capitalize upon that, for them to bring in a guy like Zach Wilson, for you now to have that edge once again at the quarterback position, where all you have to do is play mistake-free, sound fundamental football, and play like we think our franchise generational quarterback knows how to play. And we did everything we had to do to give that game away and fall squarely on the shoulders of Josh Allen. Now, do we have problems with the offensive line? Yes. Spencer Brown, he's not the guy. He is not the guy. I don't know why we take so long with certain guys and we don't implement other guys, and why we make certain decisions on other guys. But it is not working out with Spencer Brown. We know that the New York Jets is one of the better defensive lines in the NFL. But for Spencer Brown to struggle mightily like he has and not give the quarterback, our guy, a chance at plays in big moments and situations is really disappointing, not only for Spencer Brown, but for the organization to depend on Spencer Brown, because they was worried about the development of Spencer Brown when they should have been worried about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the prize, not the Spencer Brown. So it's a lot of things that I see that's a trickle effect. But once Josh Allen get into those troubled situations, he has to understand that there are other plays to be had. There are other downs that you can come back and be successful for, and you have to take the play. You have to take that loss. And for him to continue to try to play hero ball, or if he's not seeing coverages properly, these are not excuses. These are not acceptable excuses for Josh Allen going into his sixth year, to his sixth season, with these weapons as like Stephon Diggs and James Cook and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. We're not supposed to be having these miscues, these mistakes. We are a core that's been together for some time now. This is not a new regime. This is not a new core where we have to get connected dots and where these guys don't know each other and these guys have to play the whole season or play half the season before they build that chemistry. That chemistry should have been built from last season. And to have this type of disgraceful performance is exactly why the media outlets and these fans have these discussions about Josh Allen and that window being closed. This is exactly why everybody has those interceptions that they bring up with Josh Allen and all these turnovers that they want to bring up. And what happens after they bring up these turnovers? He goes and turns over the ball 4 times in huge moments, in huge situations. It's disgraceful. Is disgraceful. And I don't care if it's week 1. These are unacceptable things that should not be happening to a core team that's been around and been together for the amount of years they've been together. It's unacceptable.
I agree. And look, this was the perfect opportunity for us to get a leg up on the Chiefs and the Bengals. And we didn't. We squandered that. We should have won this game. We squandered the opportunity to go out there and get a leg up on the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Jets. Now the Jets have a leg up. They're top in the division now, even though the Dolphins had well, no, they didn't have a better game. They beat the Chargers, who have a whack-ass defense. But still, the Bills squandered that opportunity to take that lead in the AFC. Tight game. I expected a tight game. I expected this to be a game where, Josh has a pick or 2. But 3, come on, Josh. I expect those corners in the Jets to do what they do. I expect that. But I also expect Josh to play smarter. He didn't. He didn't play a smarter game. He played a game where he looked worried. And Josh, you know better than anybody. You can't play worried. You can't play scared. You can't play football like this.
It's not now. Let's not defend Josh Allen here. Let's not defend Josh Allen. Me personally, he definitely shit the bed. There's no doubt about it. But we say he's worried. Why is he so worried? He's so worried because the offensive line does not give him the time a day to make plays. That is why he's worried. But again,
so you pointed out Spencer Brown. Here's another one.
It's not just him. It's not just him. It's not just him.
Had a bad game.
It's not just him.
But if you look at a lot of those running plays, Mitch Morse in run protection was just god awful today. Quinnen Williams ate Mitch Morse's lunch. He took his lunchbox, stole his lunch money, took both the backups, and just ran with it. Quinnen Williams ate on Mitch Morse's back. And the run game looked promising to start the game. And the Jets adjusted, and they took the run game away from us. But here's the thing. On that one play I mentioned earlier, you got Latavius Murray out there, fresh legs, hadn't run the ball at all in the first half. It's the fourth quarter, still hadn't run the ball yet. Run the damn ball in that situation. You have a 235-pound running back with 2 yards to go. Fred Jackson, anyone? Remember, I can get stopped at the line and fall forward for 2 yards. Give him the damn ball. What are you doing? Come on, Dorsey. And it's mostly on Josh. It is 95% on Josh. I'd say 3% on those 2 offensive linemen because Josh can usually work around that. And the other was on Dorsey because there's certain specific plays where Dorsey could have called something that would have been more effective or made more sense in the situation. And the situation's called for smarter play calling. However, the plays weren't necessarily bad. Josh just made a bad read on the calls. And we expect better from you, Josh. It's week 1, so you get kind of a pass. You don't get a full pass. You kind of get a little bit of a pass because week 1, and week 1 is a liar 50% of the freaking time. But God, Josh, figure it out.
This loss is on the entire Buffalo Bills organization because all the questions that all of us common Buffalo Bills, casual Buffalo Bills fans have, guys that don't play ball and not supposed to be experts have. These are the common questions that we had, and the Buffalo Bills have failed to implement and upgrade at these positions. We've had concerns about Spencer Brown all off season. We want to upgrade, if possible, if necessary, for Spencer Brown all off season for a reason. But what we wanted to do, we thought that Spencer Brown is a young player, and we wanted to have him develop going into his third year, and we wanted to give him that opportunity, which is the wrong philosophy to begin with, because you need to be thinking about your quarterback, Josh Allen, first. Protecting him is the priority first, and you got to get whoever you got to get. That's an upgrade over Spencer Brown to protect your franchise quarterback. Not worry about the development of Spencer Brown. Josh Allen first, Spencer Brown second. So I blame the organization for that, not upgrading that position. We can talk about Josh Allen, but there's other guys and other things that happened that wasn't supposed to happen if we made the necessary upgrades. Now, I understand Tremaine Edmonds will be missed, and he was long and athletic and sideline to sideline, but we failed to invest in that position all off season, and us casual fans was worried about it, and the Buffalo Bills organization failed to upgrade and invest in that position, and we had struggles. We had struggles containing the run, and that is part of the reason. Now, don't get me wrong, Josh Allen is the grunt and the majority of the blame here, but because we lost the game, we have to dissect the game in different areas and what happened and what lapsed. And part of the lapses was the run defense for the Buffalo Bills, and the obvious, in my opinion, Terrell Bernard, he didn't play bad, but there was a lot of situations where he looked inexperienced and he looked lost.
I agree, but we still only allowed 16 points on offense. So I'm not. He looked like a liability in the run game, but so was Tremaine Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds was not good against the run. Let's be frank there. He was good in coverage, and he was a good tackler, but he was tackling people 8 yards on the field. He wasn't tackling people at the line. And to me, Terrell Bernard looked better reading gaps, but he was too small to get past linemen, and Tremaine Edmonds wasn't. Tremaine Edmonds was able to get past linemen when he made the proper read. So I'm not really going to throw Terrell Bernard under the bus just yet. You could see Christian Kirksey if he picks up the defense here soon enough, but I'm not as concerned at middle linebacker as I am on the offensive line. I'm seeing a lot of comments saying, fire McDermott already. Like, it's week one. Relax. I wouldn't. People talking about Eric Bieniemy. There's a lot of complaints about that guy, so I'm not ready to throw McDermott away from Eric Bieniemy. That's crazy, but
it's a little bit. It's week one, right?
It's week one, but
it's week one, but this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen now. When you want to be considered a Super Bowl contending team, and when you want to have a target on your back, and you have success, you want to glorify in that success. Well, guess what? When stuff like this happens, this is just part of it as well. So we have to take this part. We have to take the negative with the positive. So it's Sean McDermott, Ken Dorsey. It's week one, and we have to see how we continue to develop. We know that the New York Jets defense is one of the best defenses in the league. I think they're going to give players, they're going to give offenses trouble, but in my opinion, now I get it. I gotta keep a lot of the blame on Josh Allen, but the Buffalo Bills, you keep telling me they gave up 16 points. They only give us 16 points. They made more plays than Josh Allen. Zach Wilson still made more plays than Josh Allen. The Jets offense still made more plays than the Buffalo Bills offense, and that is not supposed to happen. Now, you want to blame Josh Allen and give him the blame? I gotta give him the blame,
we have to.
we had some situations on 3rd and 12 and down in distances where we're supposed to get off the field when a guy like Zach Wilson's in the ball game, and we didn't get off the field in certain situations that was key situations in the game. I understand the points and the emphasis, but their offense, Zach Wilson, at the end of the day, and that offense did enough to outplay Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, in that offense. And in my opinion, that's whatever way you want to look at it, it's disgraceful. It's
So
disgraceful.
I saw this come from ESPN. It looks like Aaron Rodgers might have a torn Achilles and might be done for the season. So, I mean, good luck, Jets, and good luck, Aaron Rodgers, with your recovery. This could be his career, and so I don't wish that upon anybody, even a division rival. So,
It's tough. It's definitely tough, and we hope Aaron Rodgers could get well. We hate to see anybody get injured, no matter what team you're on. So we definitely hope that he can get well soon, especially at his advanced age, and having that type of injury is definitely going to be tough. But we'll see what happens there. But getting back to the game, losing on special teams and just an overall performance where we look like a team that had a lot of players come together during one off season. We look like a team that didn't have 79% or 70 above us, and the Bengals had the most of their returning players coming back this season. We had the most returning players coming back this season, and we had that type of performance.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Rich. Like 90% what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with Zach Wilson did more, but I would say that his plays were more impactful. He made more impactful plays than Josh Allen did. That's just a fact of the matter. Josh put up more yards. They had the same amount of touchdowns, but Josh threw 3 picks and Wilson threw 1. Right? And Wilson's pick was bad. He threw it right to Matt Milano, and Milano was like, "Thank you. I'm going all pro again this year." But man,
so how can we improve upon this performance? What can we do to it's obviously we have to go back to the drawing board, but what it has to start on the offensive side of the board, starting with Ken Dorsey, starting with Josh Allen getting together and going back to the drawing board and the offensive line. We have to. It's definitely a crushing performance and definitely a bad way to lose. But the good thing about it is we're on a short week and we have to get ready quickly for our next opponent. So hopefully
I'm not sure that they do change much, because this is a top 5 defense that we played, right? So against the Raiders defense, this probably lights them up 40 points. But against the top 5 defense, against the top 5 defense like the Jets, it's not going to happen. The Jets have 2 of the top corners in the NFL. They have maybe the best defensive line in the NFL. Their linebackers are clearly solid. Their safeties, I mean, Whitehead's pretty freaking good, obviously. Either that or Josh clearly had a bad day. I think against a bottom 15 defense like the Raiders, the Bills offense puts up 40 on them tonight. But
but this is we're trying to get to the Super Bowl, so we can't worry about bottom 15 defense.
I agree, but if you look at the Super Bowls, the Chiefs defense not great last year. They allowed 35 points in that Super Bowl. They still won the game. They still won the game. Like it's a thing. Your offense, your defense, it's all a thing. And again, I'm not going to make excuses for this game. This game was freaking horrible. It was horrible from the offense. The defense, again, allowed 16 points. That's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to hold your opponent to under 20. Your offense is supposed to catapult you above that. To me, the offense failed us entirely. And to me, you can blame Dorsey if you want, but I think that it's more Josh Allen.
I definitely you can definitely blame Josh Allen more, but I'm definitely going to give some blame to Dorsey as well. It's overtime, bro. It's 2nd and 15, and we run a draw play in overtime at the 20-yard line, and we're running the draw plays on 2nd and 15.
Yeah,
bro. No.
I agree.
No,
Yes.
no. That's in my
Yes,
opinion.
I
That's
agree.
that's a horrible play call. Now
Terrible.
we're out back against a wall on 3rd and 12, and now we expect miracles to happen. It's just what's the thought process in the play call selection in crucial situations? Because I was bothered. I'm like, what are we doing? Even with the 10 seconds left to end the game, we had no timeouts, and I'm looking like, what kind of play are we trying to run here with 10 seconds and we just turned over the ball against this Jets defense? I was concerned about the coaching decisions that was made throughout the game once again, and I'm tired of having these coaching concerns in game situations, and this is why you get people out there, even though it's week 1. I get it. You get it. We get it. It's a marathon before a sprint, but this is why people out there in the comment section is like, fire McDermott, because we are having these same mistakes happen over and over and over. And Mike Tomlin had a hell of a meeting this offseason. He spoke about holding people accountable, and he spoke about expectations of players and coaches getting better from year 1 to year 2. So he wasn't accepting the same flaws in year 2 that he was having in year 1 from his players and his coaches, and he held them accountable to that. And we in year 6, we having the same damn issues we had like it's year 1 and year 2, and it's disgraceful and unacceptable. And I'll apologize. I'm going in. I apologize, but
you're right. Definitely, at least to an extent, you're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. And I love the little disagreement we have. This is what makes it great. This is what makes it great. Go continue.
Because it is partially play calling. Like there's some situations like that 2nd and 3rd and 15 where you don't call a goddamn run play, and there's another point where you're at 3rd and 2, and you call you're supposed to call a run play. You're supposed to call a run play on 3rd and 2. It's 3rd and 2. You got the lead. Run the
as great as the New York Jets defense is, if we as fans believe that we have a generational quarterback, if we as fans believe we have a franchise quarterback, he is supposed to be able. Now, if it's Derek Carr or if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, I get it. And I understand some struggles. Because they get paid millions of dollars and they're a great defense. But if you're looked at in the caliber that you're looked at, and as we perceive him, you're supposed to rise above certain situations, especially these type of situations where you're not only not making enough plays, you're giving the football game away. And when you're giving the football game away now it becomes unacceptable.
I agree. And look, the comment right here. Say it, is he fucking? Yes. 3rd and 2, run the fucking ball. 2nd and 15, pass it.
The ball. It's overtime, bro.
It's OT. Let him hang, bro. What are you doing? The whole second half, James Cook got stopped because the Jets made an adjustment. You have to adjust to the adjustment. This was my big dig on Tyrod Taylor when he was a Buffalo Bill. He couldn't adjust to the adjustment. This is my big dig on Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. He couldn't adjust to the adjustment. You're the goddamn offensive coordinator. If they're stopping the run on plays where you're looking to try and control the clock or whatever it is, and in overtime you're not trying to do that, it's 2nd and 15, you pass the damn ball. You pass it. Stop playing games with him, man. Go for the damn win. Let him hang and throw the ball on 2nd and 15. It's an obvious passing down. We're going to run the ball on obvious passing down. We're going to fool them. No, the hell you're not. No, you're not. Their D-line is too damn good for that. They can read it. They're going to read what your offensive line. Oh, Spencer Brown's blocking me for a run. Cool. I'll let him take me wide, and Quinnen will go up in there and stop their running back. Why? Because Quinnen's that damn big, and the running back's 195 pounds. No. This is unacceptable from every aspect of the offense. In key situations, Dorsey called shit plays there. But Josh blew the plays that were called when it wasn't game time. When it wasn't time to win the game, Josh blew it. I am highly pissed off. I'm gonna be upset for the goddamn week.
And it's getting to the point where, you know, it's becoming, it's stressful for us Buffalo Bills fans. It's definitely stressful, and everyone wonders why him gets pissed off. Now, you know, it's frustrating. It's definitely it's frustrating. We are talking about this in this fashion and losing at this in this fashion once again. We lose in these. We are always on the opposite side of fantastic finishes. We are always on the losing end, and do we take is does do we take the culture and the mentality? Does the team take that mentality of their head coach? Now, we're not talking about, I'm not talking about fire McDermott here. Now, we talked about Josh Allen. We know Josh Allen's the guy. Let's talk about, we can get back to him. Let's revert back to him. Let's talk about Sean McDermott a little bit. How do you feel about him? Because it feels like in one way or another, we are having these type of games where we have these breakdowns in games in one way or another. And if you take on the mentality of your coach, how much does this have to get put on Sean McDermott here? I have to ask.
I think this game is less on Sean McDermott because he is the head coach and the defensive coordinator. His defense did their damn job. He held them 60 points. So the defense did their job. However, Sean McDermott also is responsible for the offensive coordinator because he is also the head coach, not just the defensive coordinator. And that play caller on offense in key situations shit the bed. In key situations. Now, overall for the whole game, I can't say Dorsey called a bad game. I can't say that. But in the spots where we needed it, he was terrible. In key situations where we needed it, he was terrible. The rest of the situations is it's execution on the part of the offense, whether it's Spencer Brown, Mitch Morse, Josh Allen, Dawson Knox had a decent game. You know, when he was throwing the ball, he caught it for the most part. The one he dropped was a hard pass to catch. You know,
look at this.
That was a hard. Usually he catches the hard ones. He dropped the easy ones, right? But today he caught everything easy and dropped the one hard one. So I don't want to come down too hard on Dawson Knox. Kincaid played well. Diggs ran good routes for the most part. Gabe was, Sherfield was not existent. It was infuriating from the offensive side of the ball. But again, the entire coaching staff is on McDermott. So
now I understand. I get it. Are you tired of hearing the same excuses, the same ish over and over? We hear the same BS. Is Miss MCD the answer? Andy Reid didn't win until he got to Kansas City. Now I like the statement, right? And this is 100% true. But number one, our time is our time. Whatever damn Andy Reid had going on is Andy Reid business. That's number one. And number two, this is how I feel. Just how I feel about the situation. Because I see that a lot. And I see that a lot. And number two, Andy Reid is an offensive-minded head coach that calls his own plays. That, you know, that's a big factor into it as well. Now, just because Sean McDermott didn't win yet, because Andy Reid didn't win yet at that time, doesn't mean Sean McDermott will ever win.
True that.
Now,
and
so the question does have to come up when people ask it, and I want to ask you: do you think the Buffalo Bills need an offensive-minded coach? Or are you still comfortable with Sean McDermott? It's week one. There's a marathon, not a sprint, and you on that side of the fence still right now. What's the concern meter with Sean McDermott and this theory right here?
My concern meter with Sean McDermott is not high at all. I'm not very concerned. Again, week one, execution from the players was bad. This is mostly on Josh Allen today. I don't blame Sean McDermott mostly for this game. Does he shoulder part of the blame? Absolutely he does. the weight was on the entire team. Sean McDermott didn't throw 3 interceptions and fumble the ball once. Josh Allen did. The whole offensive-minded versus defensive-minded head coach to me is kind of BS. You know, lately,
Is it? Is
yeah,
it?
to me, yes, because lately offensive-minded coaches have been winning Super Bowls the last 5 years. But let's not forget, if you count the last 20, defensive-minded head coaches have been doing their thing. You know, Andy Reid has done it twice. He's got Patrick Mahomes.
Now,
Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
The other time that really was the only time that was really shocking where an offensive-minded head coach won a Super Bowl was when the Eagles did it against the Patriots, and they had Nick Foles. And Nick Foles is clearly not somebody who is impressive. He had an impressive postseason, but if you look at the Eagles that year, those last 2 games of the season when Wentz went down, Foles had to play 2 regular season games, and they lost them. I believe they lost both of them. They might have won one, but he played terrible in those games. Playoffs came, he played lights out. To me, the offensive versus defensive minded head coach doesn't matter so much because if you're a defensive minded head coach, you're going to rely on your offensive coordinator. So you want to have a up and coming, brilliant minded offensive coordinator, and that's just the way it is. Now this is Ken Dorsey's 2nd year, not an excuse. Not an excuse. You still have to set you guys up for success. You have to set them up for success, especially in the plays where you need to make the play, especially in that situation. So there's no excuse for this game. There's none, and I won't make one. I guarantee you, I'm not going to make one.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and extend the argument a bit further. Now, I'm not saying that I agree or disagree.
I'm listening. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, and everybody in the comment section that's listening, but I'm going to extend this whole argument a bit further in terms of offensive and defensive-minded coaches, in terms of Sean McDermott and how we feel about him. There's a lot of people that's talking about fire Sean McDermott. What about the Tua comparison to Justin Herbert? Right now, Justin Herbert is a great quarterback that have a lot of weapons, but Tua, with that offensive minded in coaching McDaniels, is having a lot of success over there. With under Brian Flores, Tua didn't look. Now, of course, skill positions and having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it helps. I can't take that away, but I also salute the organization for getting those type of players. They got those type of players, so we can't say, they got Tyreek Hill. Well, there was opportunities for all teams to get Tyreek Hill, and the Miami Dolphins did what they had to do so. So, under Brian Flores, Tua didn't look like the quarterback he looks like now. Now that he has an offensive-minded head coach, and now that we see Justin Herbert over there, we see the struggles that team is having, and a lot of people is calling for Bruce Staley's job, and Bruce Staley is a defensive-minded head coach, and he's having his struggles over there with the Los Angeles Chargers as well. So it's definitely some interesting things happening between offensive-minded and defensive-minded head coaches and how people feel about it, especially as long as the Buffalo Bills are going to have games like this where they struggle on offense and they struggle to execute plays in timely situations down the stretch, and they have mishaps that they shouldn't be having that at key and critical moments. So Patrick says defensive head coach are a thing of a past, Hakeem, and the stubborn in me. I'm a Taurus. I'm a very stubborn guy, and
Leo,
the stubbornness in me is wants to beg to differ that because we currently have a defensive-minded head coach, but I kind of lean towards that in reality because I'm a logical person as well. Another thing about a Taurus, we're very logical people, so I start to see and understand the shift in terms of where the NFL is going, and for the Buffalo Bills, it's definitely concerning to have the type of performance we had with the type of coaching staff that we have, with the tenure they've been with the organization.
So I still disagree with that. offensive head coaches are the way to go from now on. I
Mm,
think that you need to get a good offensive coordinator if you're a defensive head coach. And we
mm,
have a guy who is a second-year offensive coordinator. This guy's not called an offense until last year. This is his second year as an offensive coordinator. That is on the defensive head coach that picked him to be that guy. However, you'll see good defensive head coaches who have a good offensive coordinator and can do it, especially somebody who just gets fired.
this
I
is
don't know.
that's but that's the problem.
I don't know
That's
if
the
Staley Chargers is a defensive-minded head coach. I don't remember where he came from. So if you remember, then
but
I'll roll with what you said. But
Izzy, but that's the problem right now in the NFL today. This is why I'm leaning towards having an offensive minded head coach, because anyhow a defensive minded head coach gets a good offensive coordinator, that offensive coordinator's gone. He's going to be a head coach the next year anyway.
I
So
agree.
we're becoming at that point in the NFL where we might as well have the offensive guy as the head coach. Because if you do have the offensive guy as an offensive coordinator, as a defensive mind, he's not going to be on your team for long. So the whole philosophy is going to continue to change because you're not an offensive guy. And right now, the direction the NFL is headed with this offensive prowess, you need an offensive guy at the helm. And that's becoming a lot of the people's argument right now today. And a performance like this, you have to wonder.
You do have to wonder. I can't say that there's no fire behind that, because there's definitely fire behind that, right? However, defensive-minded head coaches are still getting hired. Defensive-minded head coaches are still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive-minded head coaches are still out there too, and a lot of them still suck.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Look at last year, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive-minded head coach, trash.
Mm-hmm.
There are defensive-minded head coaches and there are offensive-minded head coaches, and it's still 50-50 on all of them, whether they're good or bad. Robert Saleh, defensive-minded head coach.
Mm-hmm.
They went and got Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator. They beat us tonight. You think they got a good offensive coordinator? I wouldn't say Nathaniel Hackett's a better offensive coordinator than Ken Dorsey. They just beat us tonight. They just beat us.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
They're built the same way we are. They got a good GM, they got a good head coach who's defensive minded, and they just beat us. We didn't lose to Andy Reid. We didn't lose to freaking Zach Taylor from the Bengals. We didn't lose to those guys. We lost to no defensive minded head coach with an offensive coordinator who is subpar, and they just beat us. They did. And it's as frustrating as that is. I would much rather keep Sean McDermott and fire Ken Dorsey after the season, and re-up Joe Brady and let him be the offensive coordinator, because he's got experience calling plays. I would take Joe Brady if this continues this year and Ken Dorsey can't get his shit together. I would look at Joe Brady potentially to replace him as the offensive coordinator, because he actually has experience calling offenses that have been successful. I would look into that type of deal.
I'll give a rebuttal, and then we can get into final thoughts or more discussions on the game or whatever type of discussions we want to discuss. Right?
I'm down. Let's go.
On the Bills and Buffalo Redzone Report post game show. Rich, Akeem Richards, got my brother Izzy. It's a difficult loss.
Very disheartening.
It's a very disheartening loss. It's kind of something where we have to bounce back from. We have to come back and face adversity and bounce back in this short week. It's something that it's unacceptable, and when things are unacceptable, it raises these type of questions and these type of discussions that we have about our coaches. And is he on the hot seat? And should he get fired? And who should we should replace him with? And I'm going to see personally how the rest of the season goes before I give certain answers on that, because it all depends on how the season unfolds for the Buffalo Bills in terms of, what I would continue to think about Sean McDermott, because hopefully we have success and we do what we're supposed to do, and we can overcome this, because it's again, it's week one, right? The New England Patriots, I remember losing years ago. They lost the game 40-0 to the Kansas City Chiefs. And that same year, the New England Patriots ended up winning a Super Bowl,
Look at the 1 year that they lost to us, 31-0 in the first game of the year. They came back, kicked our ass 31-0 the last game of the year, and they won the Super Bowl that year. So yeah, you're not wrong. It happens. Sometimes you go out there and you shit the bed week one, but it doesn't mean that you should accept it. You shouldn't accept a beat down week one. This wasn't a beat in our hands, but we still lost the damn game that we should have won. We should have won this game handily, and we didn't.
Right.
There's no excuse for that.
Not at all. Let's see.
This right here actually exemplifies how I feel about it. It's like, I don't care what anybody says. We were outplayed and looked like crap tonight. We did. We can keep making excuses, and we will be out of the playoffs this season if this keeps up. Say I'm wrong. I won't say you're wrong. If this keeps up, you're absolutely 100% correct. And this comment here, it's an embarrassing loss. It is. This was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And I hope and pray that this team, players, coaches, fans, and everybody else remembers this loss, takes it personal, and the Bills come back kicking and screaming, kicking ass the rest of the season. Week one isn't the end-all, be-all, but it still freaking hurts. It hurts.
Most definitely, and it was a game where if we had certain things going on, we had Cook a little bit that was able to make plays and have running lanes, and I like how he utilized him a bit in the backfield, and he had some catches. Diggs was getting off, and he was able to make plays and get open on Sauce and or DJ Reed. It didn't matter who was covering him. He was able to get open. He was able to show why he is indeed the elite of the elite receivers. And I believe he's had the most success as a receiver that we've probably seen against Sauce Gardner since he's entered the NFL. So, we have still great parts to build off of, but we can't continue to make these type of mistakes. And I think a lot of the reason is the lack of explosive plays that we're getting. We're not getting as much explosive plays ever since week 9 ever since that Green Bay Packer game last year. The explosive plays for the Buffalo Bills have went out the window, and that's a part of what made the Buffalo Bills a high-scoring, high-octane offense, is to be able to have those explosive plays and score touchdowns in a hurry. Now it seems like the Buffalo Bills it's a long season, and we're going to see if it's only against the New York Jets or compounds into other defensive teams. But it seems like more the Buffalo Bills are methodical, more dink and dunk offense. And it seems as if defenses are comfortable with the Buffalo Bills being a dink and dunk offense, because you know what? At some point during this long drive, 9-play, 10-play, 11-play, 12-play drive, the Buffalo Bills are probably bound to make a mistake somewhere, whether that's via a holding or give up a sack or a pre-snap penalty or a fumble or a turnover. And I think those are the differences in the Buffalo Bills offense right now. The lack of explosive plays being made by the offense, turning into that dink and dunk defense, which happens to make mistakes as an offense as a whole. And we have to find a way to cut down these turnovers as an offense.
I think I agree with you in a lot of ways, because turning this into a dink and dunk offense is counterproductive, because Josh Allen is not a dink and dunk quarterback. That's not who he is. One of the things that they should be able to do, in my opinion, is try and make this offense geared more to Josh's strengths than his weaknesses. He should be able to dink and dunk when he needs to. It's the fourth quarter, we're up, 30-21. Dink and dunk it. Freaking yeah. Take what they give you and dink and dunk it. But Josh Allen's entire strength is his ability to improvise. And it seems like they're going away from that because they're scared of him getting hurt because he runs the ball like he does. But he's still doing that. Today, he still ran the ball a bunch of times. He fumbled once because of it, because he decided that, there's no pass play and they're coming, so I'm going to go ahead and run. He runs to the back of Deion Dawkins, fumbles the ball as the Jets come around the corner, and we lose the ball right there. And that's a big one. And the coaching staff, in my opinion, making the smart and intelligent decisions that they did on defense when the Jets were going to kick that game-winning field goal, called the timeouts at the right times, and allowed the defense to work and stop the Jets so they didn't score a touchdown, so that way we could tie the game and go to overtime. The offensive side of the ball just didn't hold up their end of the bargain. They just didn't hold their offensive side of the bargain. And to me, that is painful because you're like, all right, Dorse, we held up our side. We held up our side, Dorse. We did not allow them to get a first down. We called the timeouts we need to call. You have one timeout and almost 2 minutes left on the clock. Go get us the win. And he didn't. He didn't. He didn't. And part of that is this offense is designed a certain way, right? The offense is designed to run quick routes that have quick breaking routes, right? And a wide receiver is able to read the defense and decide, okay, I'm going deep because I don't think this guy's got me. And the receivers did that today in excess. And Josh tried to take those plays. And he threw 2 picks deep because he tried to take those plays when he should have been looking short. He threw another pick because Gabe ran a bad route and he still threw it to him for some reason or another. That's still a pick for Josh. There's no excuse for Josh. But come on.
We can't be doing this. We cannot be. I would be a lot more forthcoming if the interceptions was just some great plays by the defense. But it's just terrible plays, and it's like, what are you looking at? And it's like, people, I understand the Josh Allen fans, they want to make excuses with the first interception. It's just like a punt. Nah, it's not like a punt. Third down, get the first down on third down. You don't punt. Nobody punts on third down. It's not just like a punt because we don't punt on third down.
Facts.
So get the first down. What are you looking at? It's 2 safeties. It's double coverage. It's blanket coverage on one receiver. The chances are not high. I understand your arm arrogance. I understand you trust your receivers. But mathematically, when you add it up, it doesn't make sense. There's a 2-on-1. Why throw the ball downfield? Is again, what are we looking at in coverage where you're not seeing Jordan Whitehead over the top here? What is he looking at? What is he confused? Does it start with the defensive front? Is the defensive front rattling you to the point where it's causing you to make bad decisions throwing the football? Because I'm starting to get concerned. I'm starting to get a little concerned.
I'm with you there too. I gotta confirm this thing this guy said right here, because I thought that he only had 2 interceptions. Jordan Whitehead had 3 interceptions.
He had 3. He had all 3.
They weren't all against Gabe. One was Diggs deep, and Diggs was trying to break it up in the end zone. That was that punt one.
That was the second one. That was the second one.
Yeah, that was the second one. That was to Diggs. Diggs was trying to break it up. So 2 were to Gabe, and 1 was to Diggs.
And that was on 3rd and 6. It wasn't a play that wasn't manageable.
That was second down.
Oh, it wasn't whatever down. Even worse, it wasn't a play that wasn't manageable enough for you to make a decision like that. Like we have to, and as much as I blame Josh Allen, I put blame. We have to go back to the coaching staff at the same time, because now at what point do we say, all right, kid, we're gonna have to scale you back. If you can't do it yourself, as great as you are, and we want to give you that trust, now we're going to have to do it for you. At what point does the offensive staff say that and attempt to protect Josh Allen from himself more? because that's what is needed right now. We need Josh Allen to protect himself from himself and not make any mistakes. We need Josh Allen now to scale back and and manage the game for us.
Yeah.
Manage the game for us. If you was a game manager, we win this ball game.
And here's the thing. People complain about game managing quarterbacks. People make complaints about that. Well, he's just a game manager. He's just this, he's just that. We need an elite quarterback. Well, Josh Allen is an elite quarterback, and right now we're calling for him to be a game manager. That's the crazy thing about this. He's a quarterback with elite skills and talent, but he's making stupid mental mistakes. Stupid mental mistakes are costing him. And I'm seeing in the comments, turnover machine. He's also a touchdown machine. But you take the good with the bad. You know, Brett Favre was that way. Josh Allen needs to dial it in. He needs to dial it in and sort this crap out. We need to be done with it. He needs to just really get with the game plan. And also the game plan needs to get with Josh Allen. They, in the offensive room, need to sit down and really figure shit out, because this is not it. Against a good defense, we got to do better. This is one of the top defenses in the NFL. You got to play smarter against those defenses and against the weak defenses. You want to take risks against the Raiders next week? I'm fine. Take your risks against the Raiders. They're the freaking Raiders. This Jets defense was top 5 last year, and they got better. They got better. Stop taking risks against the top defenses and take them against teams who have weak defenses. It's okay to only put up 21 points if you win 21-14. That's okay. If you put up 40 against the Raiders, I mean, but it's the freaking Raiders. That's what people are going to say next week. If we beat the Raiders 40 to 10, I'm like, but it's the Raiders, bro. Well, I understand that. And I understand the mentality behind that. It's the Raiders. Their defense isn't great. Khalil Mack's not there anymore. I don't know who their corners are. I don't know who their safeties are. I don't know who their defensive linemen are, because Cleveland Farrell's gone and he sucked anyway. I don't know who their team is.
No.
But they look. We're supposed to spank the Raiders. We're supposed to put it on them. It's the teams like the Jets where we're like, it's going to be a close game. They were like, we should have won this game before the third quarter started, and we didn't.
And this is why, you know, and I don't want to sound mean, right, when I say this.
Be mean.
I don't want to sound mean, but the New York Jets, they won this battle, but they lost the war in this game. With Aaron Rodgers, don't get it twisted. It's at the end of the day, it's bragging rights. It's week 1. It's bragging rights. It's a great game, but it's the first game of the season. So and Aaron Rodgers may be done for the season. So it's a great victory. They won the battle, but they may have lost the war here, depending on how Zach Wilson can perform the rest of the season. The way he performed today, I'm not sure if he's that guy, and he can propel the New York Jets like Aaron Rodgers would have propelled the New York Jets. So even though we lost this game, the whole outlook of the AFC is different because of the Aaron Rodgers injury, even after a win by the Jets. So let's not mistake that. At the same time, it's about us. It's not even about Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. We have to do what we have to do as a football team, and it starts with taking care of the football and not making mistakes and players performing up to the levels and expectations they're supposed to play up to. Because as great as the Jets defense was tonight, or are as a whole and as a unit, if we make those self-inflicted mistakes, we can do that against another team. Who's to say we can't do that against the Raiders next week? Who's to say we can't do that, God forbid, against other teams? We have to take care of the football, and that starts with us. They wasn't out there ripping the ball out and making great plays and getting strips. We was giving away the football.
So I agree with most of what you said there. We gave away the football. They weren't making great plays. We were making terrible plays. Against a team like the Raiders, I don't see that happening with their defense. I just don't. There are levels to the game, right? It's like if you jump in their boxing ring, right? You jump in a boxing ring, you see somebody, and they're an average boxer. Then you fight Canelo next. You're in for a rude awakening. You're in for a bad freaking day. Or let's use Mayweather for example, because best defensive boxer in history, right? You're going against one of the best guys ever, and you can't hit him. You're in for a bad day. It's gonna be a rough one today. You're going home hurting, and he's not. Now, today, the Jets are going home hurting because Rodgers is potentially out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, I am willing to bet the Bills come out, piss and fire, and smoke the Raiders. I'm not worried about the Raiders. I'm willing to bet right now the Bills come out here and dust the Raiders off. The Bills are going to come out pissed off next week, as they should, because I'm pissed off this week.
Now,
and I don't even play for the team. I'm just a fan. You are on that roster. If you don't come out next week pissed off and destroy that team, there's a freaking problem. They should come out here next week and destroy the Raiders. It should not be close. It should not be close. And the comment right here, take it personal sometimes, right? Yeah, you goddamn right. You goddamn right. I'm taking goddamn personal.
How did Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde look tonight?
Average.
Comment section. How did Jordan Poyer and Hyde look tonight?
To me, they look average. They made their plays, but they also didn't look great against the run. They looked average. They didn't look great. They didn't look bad. They just, if it was DeMar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp out there, I wouldn't have noticed the difference probably. Maybe I would have. Maybe they would have looked better. I don't know. But to me, this team, it was mostly against the run. But
the angles they took, it was rough at times. It was
against
rough.
the run, yeah, especially against the run.
It was rough at times. It was definitely rough at times. We gonna see.
We got a Raiders fan in here. We got a Raiders fan in here, unless it's a AFC East fan just trolling.
Yeah, that's this is what concerns me right here. Now, and again, I put blame on Josh Allen. We put the majority of the blame on Josh Allen. We want to give some blame to Ken Dorsey in this game, but I also look at outliers of potential problems as well, because every game is a different game, and other teams pose other problems. The Bills should destroy the Warriors, but honestly, we should have destroyed the Jets after Rodgers went down. Definitely. They look slow.
No, it's not.
Old. Poyer looked old and slow.
The Madden curse is not real. I've been broken so many times now. Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu went to the Super Bowl the year in 2010. It's been broken for years now. It's not real. It's just it was, but it's not anymore. Mahomes and Brady both went to the Super Bowl after their Madden appearances. No, it's over. So that thing's over.
So Izzy, A. Rich, Akeem Richards, Izzy, built in Buffalo, Redzone post game report. We've been on an hour
time.
Right. We've been on an hour. So I mean, what is there to put? What is there positive to talk about? Do you have anything positive to say before we get out of here? Any final thoughts? Any positive? Which anything to build off of?
All right, so positive. Osiris Torrance looks solid out there. His first game as a professional player. Dalton Kincaid looked good out there. Leonard Floyd looked good out there. Greg Rousseau looked good out there. Ed Oliver was in the backfield often. Terrell Bernard didn't look bad. If you look at this preseason, Tyrell Dodson looked horrible. But Terrell Bernard looked like a steady linebacker. He didn't look great or good. He didn't look bad. He was an average middle linebacker, better than what we would have got from Terrell Dodson. So that's positive to me, because it could be bad, but it's not. It's average. I'll take average over bad any day of the week. Mitch Morse looks old out there. I'd look into maybe moving Bates in there, because Mitch Morse, he just didn't hold up, and he's getting up there in age. It might be time to move on. I think it is time to move on, honestly, for Mitch Morse. And I like Mitch Morse. I've always liked Mitch Morse since he got here, except for the concussions, but it might be that time. Let's see what else looked good on plays where he had to clean offensive line. James Cook looked good. He had some good plays out there. He caught basically every throw in his way. Diggs looked solid out there. You know, he caught most of everything that was thrown his way except that last catch. That's about it. It's about and Tyler Bass made all his kicks, including that boom overtime kick. So, and the punter, he punted pretty good. He almost had some blocked, and in the face of danger, he still kicked those punts pretty solid. Outside of that, yeah.
I don't think his last punt was particularly solid, but
I mean, he took it all the way back to the house. So I mean, you call solid what you want to call solid, but there's also that whipping penalty that wasn't called. But I'm with it. There's not a lot of positives to take. The Matt Milano was excellent today. He was excellent. But just like that Bengals game last year in the playoffs, he was the one bright spot on his team, and one bright spot is not enough. It's just not. It's freaking sad. It's sad.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions, over 100 yards. He played well. It was an excellent hustle play by Christian Benford down when Brees Hall got that attempt, that 83-yard rushing attempt. The defense held a team to tell the Jets team to 16 points. You can look at some positives there. Jordan Phillips, before he got injured, made some plays in the first half.
But he got injured again.
Yeah, sometimes you run to the well a little bit too much. You run to the well a little too much, and that's going to be. It's one game. It's one game. So it'll be a lot to talk about depending on what happens for the rest of the season.
I'm going to keep telling myself that until we smoke the Raiders, and then hopefully I'll feel better next week. But this is going to sting all week. It's going to sting all week. And I know it's going to sting you all week, too. You can be like, the Jets, really?
I mean,
no Aaron Rodgers, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's going to sting. But it's week one.
You have to say week one is a liar. And 50% of the time, that's correct. It is a liar. We lost, 2 years ago? Not last year, because last year we smoked the Rams, but the year before that, we lost to the Steelers, and they were terrible that year.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes week one is just not your day.
Buffalo Bills lose the game with 22-16 to the New York Jets. Josh Allen, 4 turnovers. Rough day for the Buffalo Bills fans. Just a rough day overall. But again, long season where we're going to hope that our team, despite the struggles, can adjust and make the necessary moves. It may be time to bring up Christian Kirksey sooner rather than later. It may be time to scale it back for Josh Allen and give him some different looks so he doesn't make certain mistakes that he probably shouldn't be making, but he is making, and we probably have to hold him back from making them as a staff, so just making the necessary adjustments on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball as well. Again, the Buffalo Bills just looked at, they gave up 16 points. They did their job. But in my opinion, that's a Zach Wilson-led New York Jets team that had 16 points. And they definitely capitalized on turnovers and capitalized on mistakes. So we hope that the Buffalo Bills can continue to have that output, I guess, in terms of scoring production on defense against the Las Vegas Raiders, because we expect to score more than 16 points against them. So I'm about done for the night. I'm about to go dip my head in a pool for about 3 minutes and see how that works out, and I'll be okay. Yeah, I'll be okay after that. I hope.
Yeah, no, like my man Joey Hatch said, I'm tired of people telling me what they want me to hear. I hope tonight you guys got what you need to hear, because we tonight were very, very, very critical of the Bills and how they performed, because it was atrocious on every level. this game shouldn't have been close. It should have been a 35-16 drubbing of the Jets, and it wasn't. And the season's not over. It's week 1. Plenty of season left to go. Hopefully, it was just a one-time, hey, we got that out of our system. We crapped the bed, and we move forward from here. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. I'm not ready to move on from anybody. I'm just highly, highly, highly upset with almost everyone on the team. So, go Bills. Let's get it for next week. Let's go get the win, and let's try and win a freaking Super Bowl this year. But let's just hope that this game is not an indicator for anything going forward.
Hey, Rich, Akeem Richards, Izzy, built in Buffalo. Till next time, go Bills.
All right, everybody. Go Bills.